my experience is specific to um, sibling abuse. So my two adopted children, the older sister being abusive to her younger brother. And that's something that, yes, had we not had her in care and in different placements over the past, I mean, she's 14 now, since she was 9 years old, it probably would have progressed to that. But luckily, my family did not go through that. I don't even want to say luckily because my son, who is now 11 years old, went through extreme trauma, not only from neglect and abandonment as a baby by his biological mother, but by spending the first years of his life in an orphanage with his big sister taking care of him and being his number one, his rock. And then at 4 years old, being adopted and moving to the United States, and his sister turning on him and no longer being the caregiver, but being the enemy and the predator. And it he's not been so lucky. We're lucky to have him, but he has gone through some major trauma, compounded by what he'd already gone through, like I said. As a mother, watching my baby boy being abused by his sister and then being told by authorities and government officials and hospitals and psychiatric units that no, she needs to come home. She needs to be with you. The pain that we endured knowing that she would come home only to do the same thing again was, as a mom, your main objective in life is to protect your babies, right? Not only the one being abused, but the one doing the abusing. Like, she needs help. And being threatened with, well, if you don't come pick her up and bring her home, we're going to call CPS and take your other. I have two biological children as well. If you don't come pick her up, we'll call CPS to come get all of your children. So, going through again, not parental abuse, but sibling abuse daily, multiple times a day, having 9 cameras in the house when you only have 8 rooms, trying to constantly have eyes, not being able to take a shower, not being able to leave the room for a moment without the other parent being on guard, like, hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom right now. You got this. That shouldn't be anyone's life, especially not a young child, right? So, and that would include, just watching TV together or playing tennis together. And like I said, the 9 cameras in the house, we had that. We had key locks on the bedroom door. We had key padlocks on the pantry because that's where we would keep the knives and sharps. Because she had held a knife to him multiple times, threatening to kill him. And this is her baby brother, right? That they grew up and they trauma bonded. And when you take that role away from a child who has been caring for her younger sibling through neglect and abandonment, and then put her in an environment where she's loved and cared for, she no longer knows her role, and she's only accustomed to chaos and imminent danger and where's our next meal and how do I change this diaper when I'm 6 years old and he's 3, right? Well, you take that away and there's no longer that bus coming right at you to run you over. So you just flip out because people love you. It's calm. There's nothing to worry about. Well, that's not normal. So that's where your fight or flight comes out, right? So the poor child is basically scared to death of normal because it's not her normal. And that sounds very scary for her, but imagine how scary it is for my son, who she was his sole provider, and now she is his adversary. The fact that the one person who is your blood um, will choke you, hit you with a tennis racket when things are good, nothing's provoked. We're playing tennis, right? Or we're swimming and she'll hold you underwater and try to drown you. Just, like it was never a safe moment for him. So the amount of trauma therapy over the past several years and, deep, complex PTSD therapy that he's had to go through, he's made strides for sure. Um, but it took several years of her being in various placements for him to even sleep in his own bed. He would sleep in my bed or on the couch in my room, my husband and I, terrified that whatever placement that she was at would take it upon themselves to say, "Oh, she's better. We're just going to send her home." So he was terrified daily that she would walk in the front door, even after many, many, many reassurances that, "No, that's up to mommy. They can't just send her home. That's up to me. And I'm not going to let that happen. You're never going to be in danger again. You're safe." Several years of that. And now he's 11 and worried that when she's 18, that she'll be able to make her own choice and, find us. And I speak to her weekly and we follow up and I love her dearly. She's my angel, right? I was to visit her over Mother's Day and we had a great, great visit. And she's not at the developmental developmentally, she's not 14 years old. She's more like 12, I'd say, 11, honestly. She is actually at a private boarding school right now because no one with Medicaid with our MCO can find placement for her because either her behaviors are too severe to go into a level 4, which is the highest level here, or they're too severe to go into any other level of care. So she's at a private boarding school right now for about $5,000 a month, which is breaking us financially. Medicaid, they don't take Medicaid, and no one at my MCO can find her placement for her specific diagnoses. Bless her heart, she knows that something's not right, and she knows that she wants to get better, and she's been able to get better even with the highest of care. I would say got that right now, but it's not sustainable. And Medicaid and the government are doing nothing to help much help. So I've reached out to senators, um, um, President Biden, Kamala Harris, the disability rights associations, um, our mayors, our chief administrative officer, secretary of HHS, um, all all advocates that I can possibly reach out to, and they've been amazing, but they can't affect change. And even got, after my letter to Kamala Harris, a letter back from the Bureau of Children's Safety and all that, giving me options and ideas of resources that I have already tried over the past 5 years. So there's really nothing more that a mother can do than what I've done. And I love my daughter and I talk to her every Sunday and we catch up and we talk about her week and how she's doing. Um, but my son still can't hear her name without getting nauseous from the daily abuse. So I really wanted to highlight, people see it on TV or episodes of like, some hospital show or whatever, that the parents are in disbelief that the older sibling could have choked the younger sibling with the cord from the window blinds, right? But it is very real. And it's something that we as parents don't get support for. Um, Not only to get the help for our child with mental illness, but to get the help and safety for our children that are being abused. It's put back on us to say, well, you're good parents. Your fridge is full. You've got a bed and a closet for him. But if I were abusing him, by God, they would take all my children away from me. And that's where you get that hopeless feeling. And that's why attached families has been a lifesaver for me and all of our families, because we can actually hear each other, right? Thank God for attached families, or I don't think I'd have made it this far. Just knowing that there's other people out there in the same situation, that have to have a lock on their bedroom door, lock on all the cabinets, lock on the pantry, um, which then CPS comes over because your child falsely accuses you of something, and then they see a lock on the pantry. They're like, "Oh, you're starving your kid. Cool. You're going to go away now, and all your children are leaving." And I've been in that situation twice. I've had CPS come over for refusing to pick up my child or threatening to refuse to pick up my child from a placement. And I've had CPS workers come over, and in that, half hour window that I have from notice, I'm like, okay, sons, you go clean the rooms. You go take the locks off the doors. Dad, you take the keypad lock off the pantry. Put the regular knob back on. Make sure all the cameras are put away. Like, just all the measures put in place to keep my son and our family safe are all the reasons why CPS would try to take all of our children away from us. And again, I love my daughter to death. She's funny, she's witty, she loves to dance and sing and do arts and crafts. She just can't live in this home. She loves her mama. I love her. It's very sad, but my tears have run out. So instead of crying anymore, I just pour my love into all my kids. And she's in a safe place right now where she is. And so are we. And if I have to take 3 extra jobs to keep her there where she's happy and safe, and we are too, I will do that. And when she's 18, I'll make sure that she gets an apartment. I'll make sure that she hopefully can go to Job Corps or somewhere to get her the skills she needs to sustain. But to be honest, with her behaviors, she will end up in jail. And I'm just lucky to know in my heart that she's been my baby since she was, geez, 6 years old. And she didn't get sold into human trafficking. And she's not on the streets. And she's in a good place right now with all girls and no risk to that happening right now. But when she is 18, I'm all she has to keep her safe from this crazy world that she's so ignorant to right now. She doesn't even know what she's going to face. And she says it herself. She's like, "Mom, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm going to end up homeless. I don't know how to drive a car. I'll never be able to take care of myself." And I'm like, "Honey, we'll learn together. We'll learn, right?" I don't know that I believe that.
I'm Katie Rose. I'm the founder and president of Attached Families Inc. I am a mother of 2 beautiful boys that I adopted from foster care, who, due to their own demons, issues, they spent 10 years um, being violent in some way. Most people talk about domestic violence and they don't include the fact that there is child to parent violence. And it happens every day in America to thousands and thousands of families who are ashamed or blamed or isolating themselves because they don't know what else to do. Most families who reach out for help and ask for help are somehow hurt in that process. They become blamed or threatened that they'll lose their other children. simply for speaking out and looking for help. It is my hope that while connecting and partnering and collaborating with these amazing other organizations, that we can bring awareness to society that this is happening and something needs to change. It is no longer okay to say that the systems are broken and go on with our day. We must do something to fix it.